Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, perfect delight, visions of rapture now burst on my sight. Angels descending bring from above echoes of mercy, whispers of love. Perfect submission, all is at rest. I in my Savior am happy and blessed, watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness, lost in His love. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'd stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me be falling, but He bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
He bore it all that I might live.
In His presence live. My precious Savior suffered pain and agony. He bore it
Freely bore it all,
that I might
I with Him might live.
He broke the bonds of sin and set the captive free.
He bore it all that I might live.
In His presence live. He bore it
Jesus
all
bore
that
it
I
all.
might see His
See His shining face. He bore it all that I might
I with Him might
live.
live. I stood
Stood condemned to die,
but Jesus
freely took my place. He bore it all that I might
in His presence
live.
live. They placed a crown of thorns upon my Savior's head. He bore it
Freely bore it all,
that I might
I with Him might I lived.
by cruel man with spear, his side was pierced and bled.
He bore it all that I might live.
In his presence live, he bore it
Jesus
all,
bore
that
it
I
all.
might see his shining face.
He bore it
Really bore it all,
that I might
I with him might
live.
live, I
Stood condemned to die,
but Jesus
freely took my place. He bore it all that I might
in his
live.
presence live. Up Calvary's hill in shame, the blessed Savior trod. He bore it
Freely bore it all,
that I might
I
live.
with him might live.
Between two thieves they crucified the Son of God.
He bore it all that I might
In his presence
live.
live, he bore it
Jesus
all,
bore
that
it
I
all.
might see
See his shining face. He bore it all that I might
I with him might
live.
live, I
Stood condemned to die,
but Jesus
freely took my place. He bore it all that I might
in his
live.
presence live. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well with my soul. My sin, oh the bliss of this glorious thought. My sin not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when the face shall be sight. The clouds be rolled back as a scroll. The trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well with my soul. You are the words and the music. You are the song that I sing. You are the melody. You are the harmony. Praise to your name I will bring. You are the Lord of lords. You are the mighty God. You are the King of all kings. So now I give back to you the song that you gave to me. You are the song that I sing. You are the words and the music. You are the song that I sing. You are the melody. You are the harmony. Praise to your name I will bring. You are the Lord of lords. You are the mighty God. You are the King of all kings. So now I give back to you the song that you gave to me. You are the song that I sing. This is holy ground. We're standing on holy ground. For the Lord is present, and where He standing on holy ground, and I know that there are angels all around. Let us praise Jesus now. We are standing in His presence on holy ground. You are beautiful beyond description, too marvelous for words, too wonderful for comprehension, like nothing ever seen or heard. Who can grasp your infinite wisdom? Who can fathom the depth of your love?
All right, we'll turn over to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. 1 Thessalonians 2. This is one of my favorite chapters when it comes to what the church is to be, what the model for ministers, for church work. When I was in school at Harding, going through the program, the work and life of a preacher, we spent a lot of time in this chapter, and so it's a beautiful chapter. Paul is now going to take a more personal view of the church. Again, that's why I said, this isn't the church. It's a place of worship. It's a place that means something to us, yes. But it's not the church, the people. And so Paul is going to personalize it now. The church is people. And now he's going to talk about, not from just a theological standpoint from chapter 1. Remember, we're chosen. We're loved by God. All these things that he talked about. Now he gets it into a more personal, way. And I want to look at this from a character aspect. Let's think about this from a character aspect. What kind of character did the church at Thessalonica have? That's an important question. What kind of a people were they? And even more than that, what was their motivation? Why did they do what they did? That's so important, isn't it? The motivation behind what we do. What we do is important, but even more so is often the reason why we do it. And so we see that, we live in a day and age when people are, our radar, our detector of what's your intention, you get something in the mail, you get a text, you get a voice, you're just like, all right, what is that? Who are they? What do they want? People won't even answer phone numbers that they don't know, right? It's like, how many times do we do this? I don't know them, right? Do you ever do that? Some of you do. When I call you, you're like, I don't want to know him. I don't think I know him very well. No, we do that because what are we concerned about? What's people's agenda? What are we concerned about? Scam. They've got something. They're just calling to help us, right, with our insurance, right? But our detector of bad intentions is never been higher. And by the way, with youth, it's through the roof. They snuff out phoniness and trickery and they see it a mile coming because that's the world they have grown up in especially. And so what are you going to ask of us? What are you trying to get out of us? When is the shoe going to drop, right? And I think that's that's an important issue. And so now, and I want to look at these different, kind of from these different, these characters here. We're talking about Paul, Silas, or Silvanus, and Timothy. I want us to think about their character here as we read this. Let's start with 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, and let's read 1 through 7. Who'd like to read that for us? Okay, Kathy?
For you yourselves know, brethren, that our coming to you was not in vain, that even after we had suffered before and were spitefully treated at Philippi, as you know, we were bold in our God to speak to you the gospel of God in much conflict. For our exhortation did not come from the error or uncleanness, nor was it in deceit. But as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but God who tests our hearts. For neither at any time did we use flattering words, as you know, nor a cloak for covetousness. God is our witness. Nor did we seek glory from men, either from you or from others, when we might have made demands as apostles of Christ. But we were gentle among you, just as a nursing mother cherishes her own children.
Okay, so first of all, let's think about it from the negative. What did they not come with? What was not some of their characteristics that this group did not possess? What does he say here? Error, impurity, what else?
Well, even though they had been spitefully used before,
Right.
they didn't come with a, I guess, called bad attitude.
Come with a bad attitude?
They came back, and I think a lot of times we're not able to start over.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be able to push that aside and start over.
Yeah. What else does he say? Some things that they didn't come with in their characteristics. Their deceitfulness, yeah, trickery.
They didn't flatter people.
Didn't flatter people. Impurity. No hidden agenda. They weren't.
It didn't come for their own exhortation.
Yeah, and what's he say there after flattery? Mine says we didn't put on a mask to cover up what? What's one of the big reasons why we don't want to talk to the person on the phone, the insurance? They want money. They want more money from us. And it's you go and you try to buy a car or you go anywhere to furniture and it's just, they want to butter you up. They want to what? Do you want some popcorn? You want some coffee? Get out here. You people get out here. Get them whatever they want. We know what they're after, aren't they? They want to get us in there and sell us all those extras and that warranty and the keys and tires and coverage plans and everything. They want to make what? Money. And we know that. We enter that knowing that. And Paul says, in the ancient world, these Charlemagnes, they were these shysters, these con people, especially with religion. God has spoken to me, or I can claim to do some miraculous deed. That surrounded Jesus. Is it real? Is it true? Is he just making this up? Or is he deceiving people? That was a legitimate issue because what? They had seen what? False Messiah and false prophet come and say this, that, and the other. And what do they ultimately want, of course? Money. It's a tale as old as time, right? And Paul could have taken advantage of them, right? You've seen that. We've heard of preachers and churches that have been taken advantage of. And so he says, we didn't come with any of that. Now, what should that help us? Now, I know this is in the context of missionaries and preachers, but what should that teach us about our church and our motivation with each other? What do we need to take from that as we deal with each other, as we think about our motivation among each other? What should that teach us? What are something that we can draw from that? We need to be truthful. Okay. What? Trust. Yeah, Matt?
We need to be real careful if we do business or financial dealings.
Yeah.
And take Scripture into account that we look out for the other before ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Point of love. Not we can, yes. I think all these are just spot on. That the church is not here for my selfish desires. That is, you check that at the door. Church is not for me to come in and get stuff out of it. I want to, now don't misunderstand, are we going to be encouraged and receive blessings and support? And absolutely. I'm not saying we don't get anything out of being in the church. But what's the difference there? Yeah, it's not that selfish, well, I want to take from the church for my own personal benefits. Like what's in it for me? Yeah. That's not what draws me. That's not my motivation. And sadly, that people have brought that into the church, haven't they? Have you seen that? Yeah. Their own agendas, their own ideas, their own glory, their own, and that's not just for preachers and missionaries and elders. It's for regular members that have come into churches before and had agendas to, and we don't bring that in here. We don't bring that in here. That's not what we're about. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Robert?
Yes. What'd you call me? Oh, there it was.
Treat others and stuff. When you were talking about people who come in and have those agendas, what it made me think of is we call people just as I am.
All right.
So we're going to get people who come in with
That's right.
those things driving their personality.
Right.
And we have to have patience and love and understanding, and we have to teach them.
Yep.
We can't say, well,
Right.
off with their heads.
Yes. Yes. We're jumping to our focus is going to be to help them mature, and that's when he's going to start talking about we were like a nursing mother and a father. Like Paul's demeanor with them is going to reflect, I think, what Jeff is saying. Absolutely. As we see people who come in with those immature attitudes, and again, a lot of it on just a basic level, we all are there to some degree, aren't we? I mean, you brought that into this morning when you came here, like, I need some encouragement. I need to see my brothers and sisters. I'm feeling discouraged. I was scared from those fires. We all bring some of that. Of course we do. But the church is not here to serve my selfish desires and my agendas. That's how we have to see, I think we have to see that here. As we approach each other, we need to keep each other in check. We don't try to leverage ourselves or our benefits to our benefit. We don't try to abuse or manipulate. I've seen that with you can't do this without me attitude. Yeah, Matt?
But it's kind of strange. I mean, even if you had those motivations, I mean, I've seen it in my own life. You come when you don't know, when you're fresh out of the world.
Right.
You don't know all those things, but I find it interesting. The older I get, the more I mature in my faith. Those motivations kind of tend to change as you help others.
Mm-hmm.
They get served, so to speak.
Yeah.
As you do for others, because you know that because you're serving others, then God is looking out for what you need.
Right. Yeah, that's that maturity, as Jeff was talking about as well, that Matt is saying that, they're going to have to learn to see that. But we should expect, of course, we're going to come with that. But as we are taught the true nature of Christianity, it's other-centered. And that's when they'll realize, hey, when I'm looking out to the interest of others, others are looking out for my interest. And so that's exactly as the church should be. But we know that people can come with that attitude of of me. And so there's so much here we can learn. So what attitudes did they have? Let's pick up verses 7 through where did we leave off? 7 through 12. Who'd like to read 7 through 12? First, okay, Dolores.
But we proved to be gentle among you as a nursing mother tenderly cares for her children. Having thus a fond affection for you, we were well pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but also our own lives,
how working night and day so as not to be a burden to any of you, we proclaim to you the gospel of God. You are witnesses, and so is God, how devoutly and uprightly and blamelessly we behave toward you believers, just as you know how we were exhorting and encouraging and imploring each one of you as a father would his own children, so that you may walk in a manner worthy of the God who calls you into his own kingdom and glory.
So he talks about kind of the groupings, these two different types of how they did come. They came with boldness in their gospel. They came approved by God. They were entrusted with the gospel. And then he goes on to describe how they came to please God. And then he describes their demeanor and their approach was they were gentle. They were affectionately desirous. They were ready to share. I mean, this is the character and the motivation that not just preachers and missionaries should have, but all Christians should have, right? This is for all of us. And it's so easy to approach the church and Christianity and our attitude and our actions, to see the church and to approach the church as an institution, as an organization. But at its core, the fundamental truth of the church, of the religion of Jesus, is he didn't come to establish an institution per se. What do I mean by that? An organization. When you think of an institution, organization, how is that different from the church? What is an institution, organization all about? Tell me about what would be the difference there. Okay, institutions have agendas, right? Organizations. What else do they have when you think about? Well, think about structure. Think about goals. Some of you are part of jobs, corporations. What's the?
Most of them are profit-oriented.
They're profit-oriented. We go back to they're out to get something, right? Even their employment of us is not out of what? Benevolence and love. You know, I just like you so much, Jeff. We're going to employ you and just give you money. No, they will expect what? Do something. And when you can't do that something, right?
Like we always say in America, like you're just that number.
You're just that number. That's right.
Anymore else. I bet tell young guys.
But we have to be careful that the church is not an institution like that. We don't see it like that, do we? And it don't have a hierarchy of, right? Uppers, the lowers, right? But it's easy to see the church sometimes in that model, isn't it, if we're not careful? Because, well, we got a building and we got, Robert stands up there and we get, Bill gets up there and tells us things what we have to do and, right? And we've got elders and we've got, then the deacon, the Bible teachers, and then we got just the old members, and then, and we've got a budget and we've got money in a bank account. So we can get sucked into what? Well, we're an institution. We're an organization, right? Tell me about your church, your organization you're with, right? And we got to be careful with that because how we view the church is so critical. How do we view the church? Do you view it as an institution? Is that what you thought of on your TV when you were watching that Friday night in horror? No, we thought about this building, the place that we worship and we do so much church with each other with, but we thought about the people, right? We thought about our family, our church family. We didn't think about songbooks and pews. Again, yes, we don't want to see this building burn down, and that would be, but even if it were, we'd still be the church this morning. We'd be gathered in the parking lot, or maybe we'd try to get over there in the community center, or see if we could pile in a couple of homes this morning, and we'd figure it out. But the church is people, and institutions use people. How does the church reverse that? Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Well, for one reason, because the CEO/president flipped that on its head by saying, I didn't come to be served, I came to serve.
Yeah.
So that immediately inverts the hierarchy.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So the church, it reverses, as Matt is saying. The church is all about people. That was a statement I picked up when I was in ministry school, was one of the older professors would always say that. We are in the people business. Now, he wasn't saying our agenda is just to please people. That's not what he was saying. But Jesus, again, didn't go to Jerusalem and establish a Jewish school of learning, did he? No. He could. Could he have done that, by the way? And could he have recruited some impressive men that knew the Torah and the script? I mean, there were Pharisees, Sanhedrin. I mean, we've seen the Chosen. We know the Gospels. They interacted with Jesus. They came and questioned him and talked with him. They were impressed. Some of them were impressive. Jesus even acknowledged. So he could have done that, but no. The church is not. That's not what it's about people. And so Paul says, we were affectionately desirous of you. You were very dear to us. This will always keep in check if we are seeing the church too much like an organization and institution. Because if you have this kind of feelings towards the church and members, desirous and affectionately desirous, you're very dear to us, that's going to keep us from an organization mindset where we just see the church as just some sort of cold body.
If we view the church as an organization only, it will fail.
Yes, yeah. And we will end up using it and abusing it. But if we see it as the way God intends it, and look what they did here. Look what he describes here. He says, look how we shared the gospel, and we shared, let me see, mine says, I lost that verse here. Verse 8, we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel, but our lives as well. Does anybody have anything else besides our lives as well? What does it mean to share we shared our lives, ourself? What comes to mind? Anything?
I think it means they were willing to give up their lives,
Willing to give up their lives?
that the church could profit.
Okay. Yeah, they're willing to lay down their life. Yeah. What else did I see, Jeff? Here? Yeah. What else you think about? Willing to share, give your life. What do you think, Dolores?
No, in place of lives says, but also our own souls.
Our own souls?
Become very dear to
Yeah. Yeah. How you see someone else's just cherished as your own soul and your own.
Well, we want people to get to heaven.
We want to get up to heaven just like we want to. Yeah. They shared their lives. What I also see here is vulnerability. Yeah, Matt?
One of the biggest dangers for me about being part of the church is the attachment.
Okay.
You get attached to people, and so then, I mean, when you have that attachment, you start to begin to worry about their welfare.
Right.
And then, then that's the whole problem with relationships, is because then when people fail you,
Yeah.
more people leave, and
Right.
go to Shawnee, but it's still the,
I knew he was going to go there. Knew that was coming. Yeah, that's right. But they eventually stay in our lives and come back, right? In full circle, don't they, Matt? You can't get rid of me. 20 years. No, what Matt is saying is true. The alternative, we think, though, well, I'll be a little closed off. I won't be vulnerable. So when I think about shared our lives, I think about opening up, vulnerability. I think about accessibility. When you share something with someone, what are you doing? Aren't you opening up?
You can't really help people if they don't share with you.
We can't even do community. We can't really be family. Can you be family without? If you're a real family, are you sharing? Are you opening? Are you being vulnerable? Are you? Yeah, Matt?
well, and the other thing is if you think about it, when you're part of a community, you're imparting a part of yourself.
Yeah.
Your personality, your character, who you really are, you're divulging stuff to other people. But if you look at the role model, I mean, that's what God did with us with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
He imparted a piece of himself,
Yes.
a part of himself, so that we may benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I might use that for my series. Matt, good job, Matt. Yeah, yeah, royalty. Okay. Yeah, but I think about this vulnerability. I think about this opening yourselves up. My heart, transparency. We didn't just share something, tangible. We shared more than that. Paul said, and Paul literally put his life in their hands. The church here, Paul risked his life. They were risking, but Paul, they had to get Paul out, right? And these missionaries, because they were going to get him. And this, again, what ought to be what every member has as a desire, that we look at each other with this culture and this atmosphere in the church. Again, we don't see it as a cold institution or organization. And but we sacrifice for each other because we're a part of something bigger and better. It'll keep us from forgetting. This will help us from forgetting that the church is people. And so then he describes, how does he describe these two metaphors or images? He says, we were first, verse 7, like a what among you? A mother. And not just a mother. Ladies, I want you to speak here. A what? A nursing mother. What's that image? Especially ladies. What do you, why is that so?
Because you have to cuddle your child
Okay.
to you and hold them tenderly.
Yeah. You have to hold them close. It's a very nurturing, very present. You can't do it from a distance. Bondage. And how do you handle them even? Tenderly. Now I was a little rougher than Maggie. No, I don't misunderstand. But I remember being that early on, the first few times, you're just like, I didn't want it, and then the head doesn't work, and you're like, I didn't want to break her, Megan. Now after about 2 weeks, you're doing this in the chair, sleeping with them like this. By the second one, you're like, you're, yeah, no. But I remember that first few times, I was like, this is fragile. Be careful, because they're tender. You could hurt that vulnerable. Absolutely. And isn't that the image here, as we're going to kind of have to finish this here in this second. Isn't that the image? What were these early Christians? They were like what? Babies. And that the Bible even calls new Christians babes, right? Well, how do you, you got to be like a nursing mother. You got to be fragile. What does that mean as far as handling and responding and treating each other? Well, what's that mean? We got to handle it with what? With care. You don't go in like it's a, barn workshop, and you just throw your bag and you just kind of, I've seen that. Camden, he does a lot of stuff now. He builds fences and works for a fence company, and he's got his tool, and he has to throw his stuff. Hey, watch it, But when you're dealing with people and souls, especially as Jeff talked about, people who come into the church and they're immature and they're worldly, and maybe we've been in the church 40 years and we hear them say something that's, pretty immature and not even biblical. We got to be careful that we don't what? Just, what are you saying? We don't do that in the church. Come on now, we got to be careful with doing that, don't we, with each other. And people who are young in the faith and immature. And the Bible talks about the strong even bears with what? In Romans, the weak.
Juliana used to say the strong give in to the weak.
The strong give in to the weak, yeah. We handle with care. We handle with patience. We handle with gentleness, not with harshness. not with rudeness. You know, I've had to have those conversations with members over the years, and sometimes they've been with people been in the church 30, 40, 50, even a few elders, even a few leaders that, hey, you need to apologize to them. Well, why? Well, how you talk to them. Well, what did I say? I just told the truth. Well, they've been a Christian for like a year, and you're an elder, or you're been a member 50 years, and you hurt them. Well, they shouldn't be so sensitive. You get those kind of conversations. Have you heard about those conversations? Have you had those conversations sometimes in churches where it's like, hey, be careful. You kind of bowled them over. Well, they can't be so sensitive. Now that doesn't, no. And I mean, Paul says we were like a nursing mother. And I think if we can remember that everyone in this room, if we would keep that in mind, every member of the church, let's be harmless, and where people can be safe. And so anyway, any thoughts on that? We're going to have to kind of stop there. We're going to talk about the fathers. Again, don't think now, this is just Robert, you're all being mushy, warm, and fuzzy feeling. When do we get to the backbone? Well, dads are coming. So moms, you got your turn here. But now we're going to talk about dads. And Paul says we were like fathers, though. And basically what we're going to say is what? This is a important what? Balance. God gave what? The plan is for a loving father and a loving mother. And we need both. And we don't just need, a church full of, nursing mothers that just, we also need fathers. And so we'll talk about that and that balance. So, all right. Well, appreciate you guys. Again, I think this is good timing too as we went through this past week.